Bring me everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
Welcome to Everyone Racers,
a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of Lemon Champ or Lucky Track Dog league you run.
SCCA or NASA, we don't discriminate.
as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussion,
Tips, tricks,
as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing.
whether it's on the spot,
hella sweet,
Or we're lucky enough in
Chrissy,
Chrissy,
I give you just the tip.
we're sure you'll giggle a little.
and learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Tim.
And I'm mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Welcome to a Mercedes-Benz 380, which is a Type W22 episode of our podcast. The Mercedes 380 is an 8-cylinder powered automobile introduced by Mercedes-Benz at the Berlin Motor Show in February of 1933. The 380 Sports Tour is one of the most advanced cars on the market and was duly admired, although in the end, only 154 got produced over 2 years because, some other things happened in Germany around that time, proved it in some respects a resounding failure. This is the first Mercedes-Benz to use an independent suspension setup with a double wishbone front axle, double swing joint rear axle, and a separate wheel location, coil springs, and dampening. So, great.
Pretty car. So pretty.
Mm-hmm. Very much. Well, I'm certainly not working on a classic Mercedes-Benz.
But you're doing something else. Working on another one. Another classic car.
Yeah.
What you working on?
So
Chris?
we're just moving right into.
Yes.
Well, thanks, Tim. I was waiting for someone to say the magic words. That's how it
I
goes.
shouldn't ask you what,
I
what
have
you're
been-
working on. I know where you are.
I have been.
It's standing on tradition.
I've been taking these apart and cleaning them and painting them. Repeat.
What things?
This is-
What things?
This is the entire underside and chassis and bits of an old MG, and this is what car restoration is, and I don't understand why people really enjoy this as a hobby. Of I'm gonna have to take this apart and clean it, and paint it and put it back together.
I think the joy comes from when they're done.
Sure, and I guess it depends on like how
20
much you hate
years
your
later.
family, right? Yeah,
How many times have
it's
you
kind of
redone your boat?
once, and that's plenty.
It is enough, and I
But-
don't want to do it again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess restoring an old car is halfway on the how much I hate my family scale of like I want to get away from them, so I got to go to the garage and do this project. It's going to take a while, and I can just putter around in there, and that's not that bad. It's not as bad as restoring a wooden boat, which is just the same kind of thing, but you're just sanding forever and ever and ever. And it's still not as bad as I think the ultimate is ice fishing. Is I hate my family so much, I'm going to go sit in the cold by myself and not catch any fish
And hope
just to
that
be out of the
something-
house.
Or I hate my family so much, I'm gonna make them sit in this yurt with me and freeze to death while we ice fish together,
Oh, you're
While
bringing
we
the
Yeah.
bond.
and you're
Damn
gonna
it.
like it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or my family hates me so much they send me to this, shed on a lake to drink beer till I'm pleasant enough to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's progress is happening. Like there's no suspension
Thank
at all under the
goodness.
entire car. It's all spread out all over the floor of the other side of the garage, and it's mostly cleaned and painted. And I need to put like a top coat of paint on it, and then I have to do all of the actual painting the entire underside and chassis. Because when I repaired that bit of rust frame, okay, I got to paint that. But if that's the only spot that's painted, that has been painted in 40 years, it looks strange. And okay, well, I'll paint some more stuff. Well, then where do you stop? That's the
The roof.
problem.
You stop when you get
Doesn't
to the
have
roof.
one.
Well,
Yes, it's a
Well,
Tonka.
fortunately, the shiny bits that you see look very nice. The underside is what needed the attention. But that's also just unpleasant having to lie on a concrete floor and
And also, how many
the
people are going to look
underside
at
of
it?
the
Like,
car.
they're going to look at it once and then they're going to drive away. And
Whatever. As long as the pictures that go look on good on Bring a
Finish
Trailer of the
it.
underside, that's
And
fine.
make my house stop smelling like paint. I wake up
I'm
and
trying.
I'm just like, oh, the house smells like paint. Yeah.
I opened the doors for a long time today to vent it out, and I
Yeah, but
painted
when
stuff
you-
with the doors open because it was 58 degrees here in Pennsylvania
Yeah, but when
today.
you
So that was
don't,
nice.
then my house smells like paint.
Do you want me to get this project done? Do you want to get this car done and out of here?
I do, and I do.
There you go.
And
Yep.
it's a good
Damn,
place.
why are mom and dad fighting?
It's a good place for you to be. I am. Yes, I'd rather you just be in the garage than be in the house with me.
Yeah.
No, that's not- I'm just kidding.
Fine.
Eh,
Mental.
Mental.
Save us. What are you working on?
You have a lot that's going on here. What's going on?
Well, so I recently got the Porsche and I've been trying to get it to pass emissions because once you test it for emissions, now you're stuck in a 90-day cycle before you can try to go classic plates or apply for a waiver after you've spent a certain threshold. So I changed out my ignition points, my cap, my rotor, my plugs. And then I found online that in between the 1.7 and the 2 liters, there was like a series of engines that needed a high-speed timing set. So then I set my high-speed timing, which I had to do at 3,500 RPMs. You're supposed to do with a remote tack, but I just kind of like opened the lid and looked through the grill at the tack on the dash and did it by hand. I think I picked up 15 horsepower. I did, however, not pass emissions, but we are working on that. Basically, did find out that the car's got an aggressive cam and too much carbs. So now we're at the next state of we're going to make one more attempt. And then I found a station that will now help me apply for the waiver to get classic plates.
I can't believe that you have to have an emissions test on a 1968.
That's the year
car.
it starts. That's
In
the year.
Nevada.
Of course
Right.
it does.
He doesn't live
Clark
in California.
County. Not even Nevada,
Right.
in Clark County. It started now. If what was happening before is they had the classic plates and the hot rod plates, and like the guy in the 1984, Pontiac was just getting classic plates and not get emissions, and he's sitting there fogging out mosquitoes at a stoplight, while the guy with the classic Chevelle, who only drives it once a month. So they changed the rules and you have to get classic car insurance, and classic car insurance comes with a limit on how much you can drive it. But that's just going to be the path I'm going to have to take. And I'm just going to have to like drive my truck a couple times a week to.
Haggerty is pretty decent about not
Won't
being
insure it.
So no kidding.
Sure it?
Went through, did the whole
Wow.
thing. I'm going to end up having to go with Grundy.
Why?
I don't know. They're like, sorry, we don't want to insure your car at this time. All right, well,
Oh, or is it you?
it's possible.
Ask
Maybe.
the tough questions.
In the nicest way possible.
They just like, I went through the online quote and they're like, nah,
Mm, sounds like a you problem.
going to be a nah from me, dog.
Oh,
So,
shoot.
Starting down the limo prep. Corey was here. We got some, the mechanicals on that one. And so now I've got the Amazon, all the various glowy things and seat covers. And
But do you have your outfit?
no,
Or-
I do not. I gotta hit.
Well,
some,
I have the one for you.
really?
I bought 5. It,
5?
I bought more
Okay.
than that, but okay.
All right, fair enough. All
They're
right,
small. I'll just tell you that.
Then no, I'm not fitting.
Oh, not an
Come
actual
on.
small. No. Not a size small.
They're
They are
short.
They are going to be small, is what I'm telling you.
Form
They're
fitting.
Yeah, small or short.
Provocative.
I'm
Both.
okay with provocative.
Okay. I'll once they get here, I'll tell. I don't even care. This is a podcast that people don't understand what we're talking about because it's gonna be epic, and I'm not telling you. Once they get here, I will have Chris try one on, and then maybe show you what it looks like, or
Oh yeah, All right.
you'll be
Yeah.
horrified. Is what the
Can we have Chris try all of them on?
or
Yes.
both, because I feel like this needs to be a live simulcast fashion show.
Oh, I don't.
It's
don't
a
know.
that is a
little
YouTube
runway.
I think
YouTube
the
short.
lights
Chris on
going
the
back.
runway with the disco lights. Yeah.
I think this might be not safe for work. Is what I'm thinking might happen. So we'll see. what
I'm not
Next
hearing
up,
no.
We have something from Timu.
It's not Timu, but it might be like Timu.
Yes.
It's from
so,
America. So
no, and that's just when the little pick your wheel of savings came up, I'm like, here we are.
yeah, well, whatever.
All right. And also, finally, against all hope, AT&T has brought fiber to my neighborhood. And by the time you are listening to this, listeners, ideally it will be the end of gigablasting at Mental's house.
I was gonna say your house. We're still full of gigablasting. So
We get the freaking gigabit Ethernet. I got the fastest modem I could possibly buy, and here we are still occasionally with a problem.
I am told fiber optic, and I'm getting 3 gig, and it will cover 3,500 square feet, which means I might be able to do this from my garage, all which will be awesome. I am hoping, even if it is only as good as what I have now, it is still cheaper because that's how bad cock sucks.
Yep.
Just don't say that backwards.
Yep.
Unless you're saying it about Cox
Yes.
Communications, the cable company.
Oh, that yes.
Yep.
Oh, looks like you're getting smarter, Chrissy.
I'm not doing any car work because we're avoiding that. It's still cold here. We did take a morning. I went on a bike ride, so we did 13.5 miles. Been a long time since I've been on a bike. That Chris has been on a bike that's not on a bike trainer in our basement. And then I spent some time doing some coursework. So yeah, nothing interesting around here. Tim, though, what do you got going on?
Well, I have a new addition to the family and to the podcast. I want everyone to meet Jarvis. Jarvis is
Hello, Jarvis.
he's an 8-year-old staffy. So he is 54 pounds, and 50 of that is his head. And he's
muscle.
He's 16 inches tall. So he hops down the stairs because he can't actually use his legs. He's the cutest little thing. He doesn't come without some problems though. So 8-year-old dog, he was a stray. He went through the system and got picked up. So he's got typical staffy. They have like dry eye issues. So he's got a cloudy eye. They were putting goop in twice a day, and he's got a bad tooth. So we're gonna have that pulled. And he's got some past history of some cancer on his downstairs. So they had a little they get that apparently staffies because they're hairless on their bellies. If they're sunbathers, they'll basically get like skin cancer. So he's got a little bit of that. His ears are cropped, so he looks mean, but he's the sweetest little boy ever. And he's got ear infection. So he's got we've got a laundry list of things to take care of. But we'll get him dialed in. And go ahead.
Sorry. Does he have street dog tendencies? I'm not really sure if that's a thing. We have street cats, and street cats have street cat tendencies. And
He's been the only negative we had with him was he was a little resource guardy with us and or the couch. We're not sure which, with our friend's dog who came over, but this was day 3, so there was a lot going on. But he's always been super neutral to other dogs, walking around in town or when we were at the rescue. And this dog snuggles, like nuzzles his head in with you, and is always laying on you and like in bed snuggled up. And he is the laziest damn dog in the morning. Like you need to light a fire underneath him to get him out of bed in the morning. Like he's like, no, man, I'm good. You do what you got to do. I'm staying here. So
Epic.
super, super cute. He's an interesting cat. And then Saturday we went to look at puppies.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Because if you're going to make a bad choice, you might as well make 2. So,
he's starting to sound like mental.
there's a lady, this poor lady, She's been fostering dogs with the local SPCA for 13 years. She's got 4 dogs on her own. I'm sorry, she's got so 3 dogs on her own. And they were like, we got a dog. She's a stray. Can you pick her up? She's like, yeah, but if you can go and like find a different foster, that'd be great. But if not, if you can't find anybody else, let me know. So they went through all the things and they were like, yeah, we couldn't really get anybody. Would you mind taking the dog? So she took the dog. She looks kind of like a lab, either Doberman or lab Rottie mix with the colors and everything. So within like hours of her accepting this, the dog went underneath the deck of the house that they were trying to rescue her from and had 8 puppies.
Oh,
They had to take the deck up to get the puppies because Mama was being so protective. They couldn't like get under there, so they'd like take the deck boards up and get all the dogs. So 8 little snuggle buddies, and they were born on Super Bowl weekend. There's 4 boys, 4 girls. So we went and looked at the girls. So they're 4 weeks old right now, which means they're about the size of a small like Jersey Mike sub, and they are absolutely adorable. So we've narrowed it down to 2. So in 4 weeks, when they're 8 weeks old, we're going to get one of those little nuggets and add them to the pack. So it's like puppy land, where we've gone from no dog, which is sad for us since we lost Zoe in June, to all the dogs. So we're gonna get caught up really quick.
this is an excellent plan.
It's amazing.
I don't understand what she's talking about. She doesn't know.
It's great. I can't wait.
Because you guys always get cats in pairs, so
Do not actually. We don't. We haven't.
Only once.
Well, okay, you had 2 cats because you had Mugen and now you have Checo and
Senna.
Senna.
But you got these 2 in pairs, so I'm just following suit.
Chris did not want to.
You couldn't say no to the 2 of them in the cage. They already knew each other, and they're both really nice. It's like, okay, yep.
No,
Yeah.
you and like, sure, you have to feed them twice as much, but it's it's still a litter box, right? It's and you guys, when you go out of town, they keep each other company. It's a smart plan.
All good. All right. Well, we want pictures, Tim. Puppy pictures.
Absolutely. If everyone asks, I will post all of the things on the socials. If you need some good puppy love, it's adorable seeing all 8 of these little nuggets crawling around on top of each other. Like, oh my goodness. And then I've got master bathroom project is in full swing. I am in reassemble mode. So poured self-leveler on the floor, going to put tile in, picked up vanity and cabinets that I'm putting in, and tile and blah 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 blah, and all the things. So all the sheetrock's done, floor levelers in, tile's going to go in this week and get that kind of buttoned up, and then I can stop having, like, if you could see what's going on right here over my shoulders, like all of our stuff had to come out of our bedroom and like went into this guest bedroom. So hot mess. And then I've been coaching. So the reason I missed last week is I am the assistant coach for the Athenian golf team, and that is a local prep school. Really, really good crew, good kids, smart. Like, this is like fancy pants, smart school, expensive, and it's been great. The kids are awesome. So we're Monday through Thursday, we're doing that. Put them through a little gym workout and did some technique and went over the rules today, and it's been fun. So that's it's been a lot. It's been busy, but good stuff.
I like it. Amazing.
Puppies.
Okay. Horse needs no time. Okay, it is so nice to have a woman back on the main stage at the Daytona 500. Katherine Legge will get her chance to race the NASCAR Cup Series race this weekend. She is the first woman to race in 7 years. Her quote: "I have this renewed vigor and passion for the sport now, moving into the NASCAR paddock and getting experience how they do it over there. While her path isn't set in stone, she knows what she wants out of NASCAR, racing in NASCAR, to prove that she belongs and improve in a new discipline. I have to prove competence at the end of the day, right? I don't think anybody expects me to go out and set the world on fire and be competitive because it's the most competitive championship in the world. I don't want to make any mistakes and look silly or incapable. I think the competitiveness will come with experience. It's like asking Jimmy Johnson to go and be competitive in IndyCar straight away. There's a lot you have to learn before that can happen, and that's the same in NASCAR. Here's hoping she doesn't crash
Or get crashed out.
or
Better,
something like that.
better or worse than Danica when you look back at the record? Ready, go.
Better.
I agree.
You look at
I
her.
know.
You look at her racing history. You know, she drove the Delta Wing. She drove the Delta Wing after Nissan kind of disowned it. She's IndyCar. She's
Driven in
done everything.
everything.
She's done world.
Yeah.
She's done Daytona. She's done all that stuff. Yeah. She's a hammer.
Yep.
She's legit.
All right, we'll see.
Hopefully she'll get a leg up on her competition.
Oh, you're funny.
I bet she has never heard that joke.
I'm
once.
Never.
sure anything like it.
First time. Oh, do you want me to
Wait.
cover this
The one that's in green?
The one that's in
Why
green.
don't you do that?
All right, I'll do that one instead. All right, Carvana. Do you know what that is? It's a new way to buy and sell your car, unless, well, it's the same old way to buy and sell your car. A beleaguered online realtor has invested in auto auctions and now has purchased an Arizona Stellantis dealer. Great choice. Chris Teague at The Truth About Cars has the details. But a Carvana spokesperson said, "We've always experimenting with a small test in a single market. We are excited to join the Stellantis network, and our focus in this test will be learning how to provide great customer service experiences at a franchise dealership. We don't expect it to have any noticeable impact to our results for the foreseeable future." That's because those are also bleak. But they did keep all 41 employees. As Chris notices himself, Stellantis hasn't been the most stable company, and they may have gotten a good deal on the store. Ideally, this will give them access to a new car financing option, but CarMax tried this some years back and elected to stay with the pre-owned market. Link in the show notes. Let's take a bad idea and compound it with a bad company.
Yep.
Good idea.
Hey, speaking of Stellantis and bad ideas, Dodge is still making the Hellcat Durango.
Hell yeah.
I mean, the Durango platform
America.
came out like 2014 and it's still going. But after production stopped in 2022, Dodge resurrected the 710 horsepower SUV in 2023 and kept it up for 24. You can buy 3 different versions of the Hellcat Durango right now in 25. And for some folks, that's the problem. A group of 2021 Durango SRT buyers filed a class action in the U.S. District Court for Delaware. Their beef is the 21 edition was touted as a 1-year only run. Brandon Gilroy Haggerty has a story of the 7 original complainants, armed with videos and statements from Dodge CEO Tim Kunze stating the brand's plan to build the Hellcat SUV for just 1 year. I'm sure they are incredibly damaged by the fact that other people can now buy a Hellcat Durango and be just as big a tool as they are.
Why do
Why
you
you
hate
ruined
fun?
my classic? Why
Why
you ruined
do
my
you-
classic?
Why are you complaining that other people are buying 700 horsepower? I thought this was America. I thought we liked freedom here.
These guys are big enough tools to go buy a Cybertruck. That'd be better for them.
Whoa.
That's a great idea.
Nobody saw Chris climb up to the top turnbuckle, but there he is with a metal chair. Suck it.
Boom. I did see somebody did something interesting.
Oh.
Interesting. With
We're hanging on every word.
with a Charger Hellcat. And they took
Okay.
the bed of the truck and put it on the back and made it an El Camino. And
Oh yeah, there's a
yeah.
company that sells kits for those. You can even do it like with a Pinstar rental quality charger, which incidentally I totally would.
It
But
looks great, by the way.
it does actually. I'm gonna Google one of those.
It looks
But,
great. So if you want to be a dumbass with a charger, but still want to be practical and haul sheetrock for Tim's bathroom remodel, then there's your option.
Absolutely, yeah.
Great idea.
Here is the company that will sell you the kit to do it.
Oh gosh. Looks so ugly.
Oh, it's so bad. I love it.
Oh, I don't.
It looks better than a regular. But all right.
All right.
In just a little bit, we're going to talk about how to set yourself up for success in your paddock. But you could also ignore all of that and get this vintage, which is a brand, not a style, 2005 car hauler from, you guessed it, racingjunk.com. It's got 10,000 pound capacity. It's got upgraded 16-inch wheels and tires that have less than 300 miles on them. And those are from 2 years ago, and 2 brand new spares. It's had new brakes 2 years ago, and a new breakaway kit was installed. It's got fold-down couch bunks. It's got a fold-away table. It's got a hot water. It's got sink and a cabinet and a shower. It's got a refrigerator and a microwave, and it also even has air conditioning. Comes with 2 50-foot campsite power extension cords, so you can run everything. It's in Culpeper, Virginia. 17 picks, because you can trust someone who doesn't skimp on their ad on racingjunk.com. And it is also a mere $8,000.
That's a great deal for
Yeah.
trailer.
I was like, what's the catch?
What's that done?
Yeah, it's got the awning and everything. This is
It's good.
I mean,
It's just old.
you
1,500 pound axles is the one downside, I would say. But other than that, it's solid. I looked at this. I went through 62 pages of racing junk, which most of them are the same guy. I went through just like the, what's the newly listed stuff. Most of it is the same guy, just, on commission kind of things. But there were a few really good options for trailers. This was one I saw. The other one was an ATC, Chris, that you would have loved. Only it had, like, the guy obviously goes to the track, gets hammered, and then drives home drunk because every panel on the thing was damaged.
Wow.
Or he
It
gets
was-
drunk and he tries to load his car.
Oh, or he parks somewhere that he has to rub by a tree, which is what we had to do.
Or he loans his trailer out, and that's when mine's had the most damage.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, this was a 21 ATC, fully decked out, like escape doors, like cabinets, E-track, the white beautiful wall, like the whole thing for
Not
20
ours,
grand.
right?
All right. And
Is it ours?
I'm gonna
Is ours
No,
still inside
V
yard?
nose, 28 foot,
Yeah.
like we're like solid. It was
Yeah.
it was
this
I
one
was like,
this one also has the escape door and also has a generator mount on that. But you said you went through 62 pages. I want to ask you this, Tim. Were you angry at the end of it?
no.
Find me a website you can do 68 pages of and not be angry at the end of it. But you can do that.
Angry.
Racingjunk.com.
It was great. There was a Nissan Murano on there that I was like, if this was a convertible, this is going on the show. But it wasn't.
You know what I found on Racing Junk when I was just there, that the Classic Auto Mall in Morgantown, which is down the street from us, has its own section and whole page on Racing Junk. Did you know that? They have all of, like, I don't know, it was 10 pages worth of cars that they have not far from us. They have.
Yeah, I went through those.
Did
Yeah.
you?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There was a couple there. I think there were like 12 cars under $8,000 in there. Like some like 70s and 80s, like doozies. I was like,
It's like a very wide range of, and they call the classic is loose there, but they
Yeah.
have a lot of random things there.
I
had
mean,
no
they're
idea.
classic at this point. They're from the 80s.
Yes, correct. Okay, you know what? It's upcoming races time.
Lucky Dog. Every dog has its day at CMP. They have 53
yay.
cars. There's 14 and a half BMWs, 6 Hondas, 7 Miatas, 1 Porsche, an XR4 Ti, a Taurus, and a Dodge Stratus.
That's
And
fantastic.
that's amazing. The Champ series at Harris Hill for an 8+8. They have 34 cars. Track day. 5 BMWs. That's a good ratio.
But
Good
wait,
it is, but
wait for it.
Wait for it.
Wait for it.
462 Miatas. I mean, 16 Miatas, which is about the
Which-
same ratio.
Is way out because we've had it like 27 Miatas at Harris Hill. We were like, that has to be every Miata in Central Texas.
I was like, do they have like cup? Is it a separate race or like one day
Yeah,
is Miata
exactly.
race and the next day is everything else? Sorry, go ahead.
All right. If you had to guess, did they have more Hondas or RX-8s? What would you guess?
I know the answer.
We know the answer.
Yeah.
I would have said Hondas.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
If you had to
said
guess more
Hondas or
neons, more that's where I was getting. Neons, Mustangs, Pintos, Porsches, all of them had more of those brands than Honda. You know why? Because there are no Hondas there. No VTEC, yo.
Dad. Oh.
Oh.
Oh well.
Well, sorry, but that's sad. Pour one out for
Yep.
VTEC.
All the Miatas winning next time or something like that. Okay, it's recent results time. Last week we talked about Champ. They were at VIR. Saturday, first overall was NC was Pinky and an E30. 30 seconds over RVA Graphics and an E30. B was Parts Badger and a Miata by 42 laps. A went to Nofu Racing and a Miata by 30 laps. Sunday, RVA took C by 6 laps over another E30. B was Parts Badger again, and A was Fuse 15 in a different Miata. Listener feedback.
On the thing formerly known as Twitter, regarding being thrifty with your racing resources, Johnny sent us a picture of his short track Acura saying stock class, Bandit, Hornet, which is what they call all those, Walmart tire, $60, sponsors for services needed. Like this, honestly, pretty cool friggin' paint job for an asphalt circle tracker. So awesome. Thanks there at Mr. Detail R.
Good on you, Johnny.
Yeah.
Mental Post today, what you working on limo pick? And Adam N said, prepping for Hallett. While some might take an engine out of a race car to change a seal and inspect bearings, remove the race car from the engine, complete with the pics of the mighty Slant 6 Magnum on a rack. That makes sense because that engine is like they started there and then built a car around it. It is in the middle.
Kevin B sent us a video of their VW race car running again after a transmission replacement.
And the Ronster H57 said, a tangential thought about being at the track for the weekend. You can't count on at-track food concessions being open during a Lemons weekend. Last year at NJMP, for example, there was an open restaurant on the grounds, but outside of the track. The concession stand inside the track was closed, and the pro shop inside the track had very limited food options, having a plan to avoid having to go out for food.
Yeah.
Now, our buddy Greg O'Brien had lots of inputs. First, he said, quote, our Alfa Romeo Spider was single-handedly saved by evaporust. Good stuff.
But on our news and notes article, he said the license plate obscuring devices are mostly on an uptick because of the new congestion tax and enhanced parking enforcement policies that New York City is using to basically levy new taxes almost exclusively against New Jersey citizens that drive into Manhattan using plate cameras. And I mean, that's a victimless crime. These people live in New Jersey. So
If Opus Clip does not put this into our Instagram little things, I'm editing that one into it.
By the way, I have to go back and watch the Hangover episode for New Year's Day because I'm like, I don't remember half of that stuff. I've got to watch that again.
All right. And finally, he closed with a number one affordability tip. Keep it within one step of stock. Survivability mods only, and don't install expensive racy things as seen on real race cars that require expensive care like turbo, supercharging, wide body kits, aero, and that dramatically increase cornering forces on components and drumroll fuel cells and AN fuel systems.
Says the guy who puts 2 motorcycle engines in his Tempo.
I mean, it wasn't affordability. That wasn't. That
Yeah,
wasn't
they had them
their-
laying around.
That,
Yeah.
well, I suppose.
That thing's amazing.
It is.
Oh, like
Yep.
big kudos to you guys with that. And the infamous Al Jones mentioned Evaporust as well. Tip on rust removal. Evaporust is great, but kind of pricey. Home Depot, Lowe's, hardware stores, they sell muriatic acid, which works just as well, but only costs like $10 a gallon. You can also reuse it several times before it becomes too goopy and grimy. The only downside is it kind of smells like robot farts. So use it in a well-ventilated area. Even white vinegar will work as a rust remover, but it takes a little longer. Now we're saving money.
I was very excited to read that because I use muriatic acid in my pool and I always have a bunch around and it is way cheaper than Evaporust. I'm excited to try this.
So I have a lot of sulfuric acid at work. I'll just steal some of that and bring that home.
Different
Okay.
kinds of acids do different things.
Hydrochloric acid, you will have
I
no
that too.
rust.
I have
Exactly.
hydrochloric as well.
Boom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just mix them.
And then
I can do that.
We'll mix
Yeah.
it. Can we get some MEK and
I
mix
don't
it
have
with that?
MEK. Sorry,
And some
I don't have that.
hexavalent chromium?
I don't have that
Okay.
either. No, but I do have sulfuric
Oh.
and hydrochloric, which we can mix some of that things, and we can always.
Sounds like
try
it's time to
Have
cook.
a little tea party.
I can. I'll bring all the things to make chlorine gas because we do that sometimes too.
Great.
Anyway, always a source of good info. Michael K says, although we worship at the altar of the ST43s at Bad Decisions Racing, you often not need them for rear brakes. In our case, the pads on the rear of the Plymouth were wear fast, as caliper designs from the Explorer rear end have so much designed in slop they bevel pads. We have found that the severe duty towing pads from Wagner last 2 races at like $45 a set. Because of the wear type from the calipers, we only get 4 races from the ST43s at close to $300 a set. The Explorer 8.8 is such a common swap for so many rear-wheel drive cars that this can apply to a lot of the team. Ta-da.
You
Excellent.
know who else is always a great source of information?
Yes, especially about cheap brakes or something.
You know who would never steal hydrochloric acid from their job?
Yep,
True.
true.
You know who also levies taxes on New Jersey citizens because it's a victimless crime?
Hi, Chrissy's mom.
Oh
Hello,
man,
Chrissy's
that
mom.
one's so awry. Okay. It's I'm
We
really
didn't hear you,
excited.
honey. You're too loud.
Say it again.
It's main
Again.
topic time.
Again.
It's main topic time.
So we have a new person that just started working at our office who has a really great podcast called Fundamentals, and it's a nerd sci-fi comic book, the whole culture podcast. And we were chatting back and forth, and they have like 7 times the viewership we do. But she said, "Why is the girl so quiet?" She'd watched the last episode. I'm like, she was just getting over a cold. Don't ever get in front of her if she's holding a clipboard at a racetrack, or tell her no, because you know.
Yeah.
But
Or at 5:50, right before the potluck.
Am I? Well, if it's going well, I'll be happy. If it's not going well, I'll flip the frick out. Yes, you're absolutely right. Yes, or if it's 7:01 and you start grabbing you're absolutely right. If you start grabbing your plate and there's three,
What? It's supposed to start at 7.
right?
What?
There's 3 salads and a half-eaten piece of pizza, and you just want to go eat that because you think it's time to
What?
start. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, and you cut in front of Dale.
Yeah. Don't. You are absolutely right. Good.
Just
good.
don't.
Good answer. Anyway, I'm sorry that it cuts out. It's main topic time, and today we're talking about paddock setup. I'm so excited about this topic, and I went back and looked, and I can't really find. It was a very long time ago and called something else. So, we're kind of. This is all what we were talking about last week when we were talking about how to be on the cheap. We were talking about paddock setups, and we're like, you know what? We haven't talked about paddock setups in a long time. So I've got a lot of kind of bullets here. Tim also does this and has his own setup. Mental occasionally does as well. So I know we've got a lot of things that we can kind of interject. So I have it set up. Typically when we get there, we are already planning and we have a usually pretty good setup, but I think the orientation of the vehicles and tables is one of the best places to start on how you are going to experience your weekend in your paddock. Sometimes you're going to a paddock that might have a garage. Sometimes your RV is on the other side of the world than it is so it's depends on what the how big your setup can be, how many cars you have, how many trailers you have, how many sleeping spaces you have. But one of my biggest things is when you have your RVs that are pointing in different directions, you want to make it so that you have probably doors that are going in to the central space. And then we also try to consider which side of our paddock, our pit, our food is going to be on so that it's not sitting in direct sun the whole time. Sometimes we've had races where it is sitting next to an RV, except if there is a awning, that's great. But when it gets windy and or dark, cold, raining, wet, you have to pull that in, then you are either exposed to the elements. So that doesn't always work. That was my initial thought of where we should start.
Also, if it's going to rain, think about where the low points are so that you don't have the lake in the middle of your paddock.
Yes.
Or we've had to construct a whole series of bridges to go from one section to others just because
like when
of that.
It's right out your door. And so then that's your first step is in 3 inches of mud.
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Three
call.
puddle mafia.
Yeah.
I love it.
Trailer ramps make great causeways to get across the low-lying swamps.
That was New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah. It rained a lot that time.
And if it's going to be especially windy, considering parking in a way that makes it so you're not a wind tunnel, but have a wind block if it's cold. That's nice too.
And if you have a team that doesn't go to bed early, make sure you have spots where people sleeping can escape that. And like the opposite side of a trailer or RV is a great spot for that. Or maybe you put an RV like on the other side of the parking lot because you know what's coming. Or if you're going to rent garages, maybe don't rent them next to each other. Like a couple apart is a good idea sometimes.
It sounds like you're speaking from experience.
No, I'm purely hypothetical.
Okay.
Purely hypothetical.
Wow. Okay.
I think having a dedicated kitchen bin for the track is a really, really good thing to do. And it can be something where you just like go to the thrift store and get a bunch of crap and put it in a bin. And then you don't have to worry about like putting your nice stuff, whether it be tongs and spoons and plates.
Read down the list.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that far. I put that in setup. But like having something like that is important. Also, like racks. Like go to IKEA and buy metal racks for $20 that you can go and set up and then put all of your things on, because flat spaces are really, really important during race weekend, right? So you can get one of those wire racks, super cheap. It folds up to nothing. Set a couple of them up, put your bins on them. You can put your food on them. You could put like all sorts of stuff. It's super, super handy.
That's an interesting idea. We don't have that. Okay. All right. Well, let's keep going with setup. Plastic tables, they're a must. All different sizes. We did or do have all different sizes, not just the 6-foot tables. We did have not stolen. Somebody left it in a garage and I kind of liked it. Almost like a card table size, pretty light. We have an extra long like buffet table. We also stole from New Jersey, Atlantic City actually. And so so all different sizes is kind of fun because then you can put them all different places, places that don't have any space in your garage. If you're in the garage, you need table space, but you can't go wrong with them, especially. And also I think what along Tim's idea in many of these things is getting your own dedicated race set. So if you're taking your table from your, if I'm taking this table that's behind me, if I want to put it back, it's probably going to be pretty gross, and you're probably never going to get it back to looking the way that it did when you started. So no matter how clean you are.
Go and buy the like closeout tablecloths and napkins and stuff. Like the cheap like paper ones, the throwaway ones.
Like right after a holiday, go to the dollar store and get the Christmas ones like the first week in January.
Because who cares? Like it's gonna have like bearing grease on it, like whatever. It's fine. Cheap ways to save your table.
We don't have tablecloths in my paddock. Maybe I need to invest.
Amazon Zebra.
Next is Gatorade jugs. These are a must. I can't stand when you go in and you have teams that have water bottles or Gatorade bottles, and that's all you have. It's fine if you have a couple left over that you want to just grab something for when you're getting out of the car and you need something immediately. But having Gatorade jugs, 5 gallons, and Nalgene's, getting everybody their own bottles. Again, if you have a bottle and you're missing something, I always have solo cups and that kind of stuff for emergencies, but having those as your primary, I think are huge.
Because they're reusable and you don't end up with 5 people who have 1,700 different unlabeled bottles of water with 3 sips taken out of them
all
on
over the
every flat surface in your paddock.
Guilty.
Yes.
Guilty. Like we need to do that on the West Coast. 100%. It's like awful.
They're cheap, and especially so I buy Gatorade in a like 5-10 pound
tub.
Tubs. And then you just throw some in and keep making it all weekend and make it as strong as you want. Then you're only limited to one color, but at least if you've lost your bottle, that's on you, and you can't just go pick up another one. So and it's also so wasteful. Very few tracks recycle, even then they're not good at it. So then you end up with just throwing everything away, which is killer.
Even when they do, those bottles take up so much space in the trash can. I always feel bad for the track guy that has to come over while the golf cart with the trailer on it, and they're trying to wiggle the bag out of the giant 50-gallon thing, and it's nothing but water bottles. Yeah.
And we have plenty of trash anyway, always. So adding those is a huge thing. So here is a top tip of something that we started a long time ago. The water that you're going to add to your said Gatorade jugs, and you're going to make one that's water and one that's Gatorade. We have bought the gallon or the 5 gallon or the 2 and 4. Is that wrong? 4 and 5.
4 and 5 gallon jugs.
4 and 5 gallon jugs that you basically would
like
go
water
to,
cooler jugs.
Water cooler jugs, yes. That we have the tops that are not all the way ripped off, but they're ripped off that you can fill them. So we refill them with tap water. And use them to put the water into the jugs at the track. So we usually try to assess how many gallons of water people will drink over the weekend. If it's a super hot weekend, then we're going to bring extra. Every once in a while, we don't have enough, but for the most part, we brought it. So rather than buying the gallon or the 2.5 gallon milk jug type things at the grocery store, we just buy the larger ones, fill them up, and then bring them. Anything else?
Yep, works really well. It's always annoying walking around other people's paddocks and seeing the just field of bottles. And if you get something like a Nalgene or a metal bottle, it lasts forever. Like I still have my first like race bottle around somewhere. You just put names on them. If you have a vinyl cutter or know someone who does, just cut the name. There you go. And
Or
that
the
way everyone knows where you
different
left your
colors?
bottle. Yeah,
Correct.
but the name makes it even easier because oh yeah, I saw your bottle over there because it's
Yeah.
got your name on it.
Yep.
And then you always have one bottle that's a bottle of shame that's small and beat up for the person that forgot their bottle. They can have
Or
the
it's-
bottle of
yeah.
shame.
Or it's
Or the
obnoxiously
chalice.
colored.
The chalice of failure.
Chalice
Yep.
failure.
It doesn't.
Cannot be put down.
Yeah, you can't put it down. It's a shame. All right, let's talk appliances. Oh, good.
yeah.
You have more?
No, go for it. And if you want any of these and you're a West Coast racer and you're going to the track when I'm going, I always have access to a sinister amount of those, absolutely ridiculous metal flasks that people carry around with water because they all get abandoned in my office. After a major event, there will be 20 of these. I bring them home. I run them through the dishwasher. I keep the ones I like. The rest to get donated to the local thrift shop. And I will save them and bring them all to you. And then you can cut vinyl and put names on them and everyone has their own bottles.
That's awesome. Okay,
Love it.
let's move on to appliances. So one good thing that we can't live without is a crock pot. So great. It's great you have a crock pot, but usually washing dishes is fairly difficult. You need to have crock pot liners. Crock pot liners have changed my life. When you used to have dinner and then you didn't clean it out well enough or you didn't clean it out fast enough and everything is sticking to the side and you just want to kill yourself because you're stuffed in the bathroom while everybody's partying and you're trying to scrub your stupid thing for your crock pot. Just get.
And that's at a nice track like New Hampshire.
Sure.
Like, you're at Summit Point, you're in that bathroom. You don't want to be in that bathroom any longer and you have to be in that bathroom.
Yeah, or I'm in the shower because the sink isn't big enough or something like that. So get crock pot liners. They're plastic. You think that they're going to melt, but they do not. So just trust yourself and trust, I don't remember the company that, whatever. They just look up crock pot liners. That's my biggest one. Chris, do you want to talk today?
Sure. I have lots of shows where I talk a lot and you don't talk much. So this is what it's like.
Fine.
As far as crock pots go, I will say that I really like that we have a crock pot with a hinged lid because otherwise, every time you take the lid off the crock pot, it's all got all the condensation on it and it's got
crap,
all
food,
the stuff on it, and you don't know where to put it, and it makes a huge mess all over wherever the table is. But with the one with the hinged lid, you pick it up. It conceals the mess. You don't have to worry about putting it everywhere. I've found that to be a huge help in keeping things clean.
Also, ours is very simple. It just has the off, warm, high, low. So you don't have like to push the how long, 10 minutes or 2 hours and up and start because inevitably some people that might prep the meal night before may not turn it on and or plug it in. Ask me how I know.
Literally, Jeff is sitting in his car right now and he has no idea why his nose just started bleeding.
No, it's me. I did it the last time. No, it was me. Actually, truthfully, I think the circuit breaker tripped on the power strip, and that's I think I did plug it in, but the power strip wasn't working at the time.
Is that when you tried to burn down Kreger's car?
I did not.
No, Kreger's tried to burn down Kreger's car.
I'm the one who bought it. No. I was like, your car's on fire. And he's like, no, it's not. I was like, check the video. And he did. And it was on fire.
That's well, okay.
Okay. So that was not me. Okay. We're done with crockpots. Chris, do you want to talk about grilling?
Sure. We went through a lot of options for a grill, for what to do for cooking for a large group. If you have a small group, if it's just a couple of you, an electric griddle is a great way to go because you can do basically anything on it. It's easy to clean up. It's easy to store. But that really is only going to feed like 3 people, maybe 4 at most. That's what you get. So when you have a larger group, yeah, larger group, we're thinking, all right, what do we need? We looked at grills, we looked at things, and we ended up, this is years ago before they were cool, with a Blackstone slick top. This is a smaller one. It's a 36-inch 2 burner, and it has been absolutely fantastic for race use because you can make anything on it. You can make your pancakes and bacon in the morning. You can make cheesesteaks in the afternoon. You can make burgers at night. You can heat up, like we've done stir fries on this with rice. We've done everything that you could think of. And I don't miss having the grill part of it with the grill lines. And you can get that top for it, but it's a huge pain in the butt to clean.
And you like don't need
where
it.
Don't care.
Right, the
Nope.
flat top is just so easy. It gets a great sear on the burgers and whatever other meat you've done. I mean, we've done
It's
surf
easy.
and turf.
Would you say it's easy to clean?
like,
It's super easy to clean.
it is. It's about as easy to clean as you're going to get. I mean, scrape it off with a spatula, and then put some water on it and get a paper towel, or actually, well, several paper towels on it, and wipe that down and let it burn off, and there you go. It's done. But do clean it before you put it away at the end of the weekend, though, so that you don't forget it and take it out the next race and have a science project.
Ask us how we know.
And oil it,
Yeah.
so it's not it doesn't, you don't need to go back to the muriatic acid conversation we had earlier.
Yep.
Yes.
But
That was so good. I have one of those. Yeah.
They make one that I bought that folds up. It's like an X brace, and you can fold it up, and then it's got wheels on it. You could drag it around like a dolly. So the one that Mental showed, if you're watching the YouTubes, is like a normal cart, like a welding cart, like 4-legged cart. The other one folds up, rolls around, super easy, very, very convenient.
Yeah,
I bought that.
Like ours, the
track.
legs fold up. Each side folds up into up to the bottom, and there's a brace that goes between them, and it's okay. But what you're talking about sounds better.
Yeah.
But
agreed.
yeah, and it just lives in the trailer, basically, because that's what we need. But here's another top tip: bring an extra propane tank.
Always have to, because it will run out when you didn't expect it to.
Yep.
Like breakfast time.
Right? Or everybody's
Mid-
sitting around waiting
like,
for burgers.
Mid steak cook.
Yeah.
And the
like a
minute you
rare
hook
burger.
up, the minute you hook up the second one, make someone go get you a new one, because something will happen to that one and you'll be like the next morning still waiting around. So always have to.
Accurate.
Yep.
Okay, next is coffee maker. So chances are you have at least one person that drinks coffee. You're going to make coffee. What I have found is that I actually have a great coffee maker, but I bought a cheap, I want to say like Betty Crocker, and it has the carafe and it's glass. This all sounds like a bad idea, but the biggest thing is that when you have your asshole friends that decide to wake up at 3 hours after green flag and they are looking for some coffee, it is inevitably not good. It is sludge, or it is cold, and it's not great. So I have one, and like I said, I don't know what the brand is, but basically it holds all of the coffee in the top. And so it's basically when you push it like you would to get water out of your fridge, like you would push the back of it, it pours the coffee, but all of the top is insulated. And so it actually holds all the coffee, has the burner on top, and then just kind of gives you as much coffee as you're looking for from kind of like a spigot type thing. So I would suggest insulated, or if you could get one that has the carafe that's insulated, just because unless you're just saying you get the first cup, and if not, you just get cold coffee, which
It's
some people
think
are okay
every
with.
convenience store you've walked into where they don't keep the coffee fresh.
So
I think it's a Hamilton Beach brew station is what I
Thank
think it
you.
is.
Okay.
If you wanted to look it up.
Great.
So we
my-
stole it from the
my
Cape
boy-
House.
Jimmy Varellis from Table for One Racing went to a restaurant auction where they was going out of business, and he got the like Gatorade jug sized
Oh.
coffee brewer for like $30. And so you set it, you put the huge filter in, you put like a whole pound of coffee in it,
Oh my gosh.
and you set it up, and then in the morning, whoever wakes up first, all you do is plug it in, and then
Yeah.
everyone drinks coffee for the rest of the day.
Or the
And
rest of the weekend.
And it's fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's so
it's super easy.
Yeah.
It's like going to Starbucks every time
And
Jimmy sets it up.
and it doesn't cook on the bottom like the Mr.
Right.
Yeah.
Coffee style.
Right.
Yeah,
would
because
do,
it's constant. It's a constant pour over, right? So
Okay.
it's so good. Good job,
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Yes. So all of these are better. Spring for the one that's a little bit better than the normal $10 carafe. Also, glass is just a bad idea. So it either breaks in your car or breaks in your somebody's hand. So
or
yeah,
breaks that exact moment you needed coffee.
now you have glass and coffee. So that's not great. All right. Next is a portable ice maker. So this kind of fell into our laps when Jeff had two, and one used to live in his RV, and then we used to pull it out, and we kind of love it now. And so it is a little, it's about the size of a crock pot. It's fairly small. Add some water, get some ice. There you go. Wow, it's pretty cheap.
$30.
This one is probably not as nice as the one we have. But
Whatever, for $30, it's
$30.
disposable.
So you add water, it makes ice. It gives you you have a little spoon and like a little scoop, and it fills up the little basket. When it's full, it'll tell you the ice is full, and then you start over again. Really nice for when you just want a handful of ice cubes. Not great. You probably should have a thing of ice and crushed ice for drinks, but it's kind of nice that if you want 5 ice cubes in your warmish water, because the Gatorade bottle is sitting in the sun at the time. Kind of nice. So I would suggest, especially if the $39 or $29 one is pretty good.
Vicky is a
Or
huge
you can
fan of the go.
You can get there's one I'm just looking at on Home Depot. It'll make 26 pounds of ice a day, and it's $69. But that's that's enough to like keep things pretty cold.
Where does it get the water from? Do you have to hook a water source up, or do you have to pour it in?
You have to keep adding water.
Yeah.
Okay. Usually, the one we have, you have to pour it in.
Yeah.
Some of these other fancier ones maybe have a way to connect a water source, but
I'm a terrible gift giver, but occasionally I'll get something right. Vicky is a huge fan of the little nugget ice, and we actually have one of these in our kitchen because it makes the nugget style Sonic ice.
Wow.
And they are. Sometimes I just want a handful of it. I just throw it in. It's great.
Okay.
So speaking of gift giving, so Mr. Dickman sent me a food vacuum sealer, and that has changed my life. So one of the things that I bring is I bring a smoker to the track. It looks like a dorm fridge, which you should also have, in size, and you can cook 10 racks of ribs on that thing if you cram them in there. So like feed everybody with it. Or you could do, like, I've smoked salmon and I've done beef ribs and tri-tip, and like you could make blue cheese burgers and smoke them in there. That's like so many things. It's fantastic. And you set it all up
just
in
an
advance.
electric smoker box. They're super simple.
Box.
They're like $100. They're great. Yeah.
Yep. And you set the time that you want it to cook for. You set the temperature you want. It's got a little tube that you can pour more chips into that goes into the side, and you twist it and dumps them into the little tray. Like talk about easy. So when Corey got me that vacuum sealer, I would go and I would dry rub all the ribs in advance, and then vacuum seal them, and then put them in the cooler, and then on Friday morning, slice them open, chuck them in, plug the thing in, and go racing. And then you come back at 4:00 and they're ready to go, and they're like moist and perfect, and it's like the easiest damn thing you could ever do. So also I'll go to Costco and I'll get a bunch of Masterbuilt is the one that I use as far as the smoker goes, and it's great. Like highly will buy again. But also the vacuum sealer, like vacuum seal a bunch of little granola packets, so you don't have greasy hands going into the giant Costco bag, right?
That's a fun idea.
So you can do all sorts of easy stuff like that, and it takes a half a second to seal the stuff up. It was a great gift. Thank you again, Corey. That was a gift that keeps on giving to him. So smart man. But the dorm fridge, like you can buy these things on Facebook Marketplace for like $40.
Got one in my garage, like $20.
It
Yeah.
lives.
I
Give
had
one
two of
away.
them. I had two of them at the Cape. I couldn't give them away.
No,
They stayed
put
at
it
the
in
house,
your
I guess so.
trailer. Put it in your trailer.
Really now.
It like you put as soon as you get to the track, right? So the way that I go about it, as soon as I get to the track, smoker comes out, coolers come out, everything gets iced down. You know, you make sure everything's good to go. The fridge gets plugged in, and then your food, like cold cuts and stuff that you have for lunch, that comes out of the cooler, goes in there, and then the block ice that you've made goes in the freezer of the dorm fridge, and now you have block ice solid all weekend. It's ridiculous for $30. Like, freeze the stuff. Uncle Dave uses milk cartons, like freeze the stuff at home, and you've got enough time where you can actually make more ice if you really need to. But I love the ice maker idea, by the way. So like, dorm fridge, it's a great way to keep your, food, like ranch dressing and like for snacks and stuff that you want to put in there that you don't want to put in a cooler where the ice is going to melt and then you're going to drown whatever's in there. So super, super easy. Pull it out, plug it in, and off you go. And that leads to the next thing, which is power strips. Like, have tons of power strips and extension cords that just live in your race car or in your trailer that go to the track only. And USB chargers everybody will love you if you have plug-in USB things for all of your devices, whether it be your phones or your GoPro or all, like everything's USB nowadays. So just put it in there, dedicate it, and don't, I'm going to pull it out of my living room and bring it to the track. No, you'll forget, and then you'll just be like, I can't charge my phone, and I'm sorry, honey, I didn't call you for 4 days. So just buy extra ones.
Cool.
Okay.
So how do you you've got a very good organizational system of various bins and things, Chrissy. How do you get that all together, and what are the important things in there?
I do. So it started with, I think, one Rubbermaid, grew into 3, sticks with 3. And I actually think they're the same 3 Rubbermaids I've had since I started this. Probably they might be 10 years old. I have 3 different Rubbermaid containers. I have one for what I call the lemons box. That's the catch-all. That's exactly what Tim started at the top of the show. It has all of the spatulas, spoons, lighters, knives. I have a couple of dedicated cutting boards and bug spray and oil, and so that all goes in
spices, olive oil, like any of the things.
The next one I have is paper goods. So it's fairly well organized: paper plates, bowls, bags, or gallon-sized bags of forks, knives, and spoons. I do have a basket that I got from like a country store that has special spots for forks, knives, spoons, napkins. I do have some spices in there as well, so I use that, pull that out in the beginning of the weekend. And that's where you go to get all of your utensils. That works for me. And then the third one is actually my catch-all. So that's my food catch-all. I'm sorry. So that's where my oil and Pam and extra chips and Nalgene's and that kind of stuff. So that's how I have it organized. It works well for me. Then you can know what you're looking for. And what are you even watching?
What is going on?
What is going on?
Spatula City. Duh.
Okay.
I totally missed that.
I didn't know what was going on. Okay. I also tend to use IKEA bags, so they're great for when we have a whole bunch of people and I have a whole bunch of chips and burger buns and like soft stuff that's going to kind of go throughout the weekend. I usually will utilize those, and they're easy to carry, and everything is kind of easy to keep it all together. So those are the couple things that I use for organization, and really suggest getting at least a small set of, especially the utensils. I think Tim started to say I have what I have is a that really works well, and I don't even know that you can buy them anymore. But basically, it's like a dish basin for my dirty dishes. So basically, find a bucket that is, but this is like the old school. Somebody keeps them in their, the wash bin in your sink, and I put a small thing of dish detergent and the sponge. Keep them in the bottom of the dish detergent. So when my dishwashing fairy comes around, they can take the whole bucket and they just take it away. They bring it back, and all my dishes are done. But that's usually how I try to organize, keep the dirties away from the cleans, and then it's ready to go for the next meal. So that's most of organization. Anything we're missing? I see there's a whole bunch of more here, but I think we're not. That's not. This is more just paddock stuff, pit stuff. How to
Yeah,
organize
it's just
your work.
figure out what you bring right over time, and add things to your bin, and just put them in your bin and leave them in, right? Like
Or
I
keep a
have
note on your
list.
phone or a notepad of things I wish I had this weekend.
Yep.
And then when you get through the race hangover, then when you're back home and you've got 2 weeks before the next thing, start putting it all together and then keeping it in. If you keep it in bins that make sense, then you tend not to pull it out of your trailer. And then you don't get to the track and go, oh, damn it. That's right. I pulled this out to go do this thing and it's sitting on my workbench. And now we're done racing.
You know what I've bought at like the local store 1,000 times because I always forget to pack it?
Spatulas.
Syrup. Because the I have all of the things to make pancakes, right? And the butter, you bring the butter with you because it you use it in all the other things,
Right,
and
you use it for other things. Yeah.
I always forget syrup. So I'm always going to the store to buy syrup. It's so annoying.
I think the thing that I forget is the Gatorade. Sometimes I think there's more in the Gatorade container than there is. And so that has been a thing that I've forgotten. But we're usually pretty good about syrup. Okay, so anyway, I'm actually made and dug up a video that I made. So hopefully we can put that link in the show notes. It will show all of our setup. So it's in my basement. It's from a couple of years ago, but it is exactly the way that we are.
Do this really quick.
Oh, it's right here. Right here. Click there. So yeah, so it's me in the basement. I go through and show all of our setup. We show the ice maker and our body size cooler, plus all of my pantry, and plus my pink boxes that we load up all of our paper goods in, and all that good stuff. So yes, go look at that link and maybe you'll learn something. And I, of course, as we're going to, I think, wrap the show up, I would love to hear about what you use. What do you think is great? What do you have that you can't live without? What did we miss? I'm sure we obviously missed a whole lot of things, the things we didn't talk about. Tools and seating and lights and all that good stuff. So there's plenty of other things we didn't talk about. But what else did we miss? What else do you think is great?
One question for the guests in the audience there. One thing that I've always thought about that I've never done, but if you have an RV, you end up having one anyway. Does anyone use a microwave very often? Like, I feel like that would be a pretty helpful thing. But it's kind of weird to just throw a microwave on the table. Like, if you got an RV, you're gonna use it. Are you gonna use it if you just like throw it in a trailer and then put it on a table?
If it's just you or a handful of people, or like you're responsible for your own food, absolutely. But if you're feeding the masses, as Chrissy always does, it's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Totally agree. We do use it for like my amazing recipe for pancakes calls for melted butter. And so it is nice to have that. So we usually have somebody who has a microwave, so we utilize that. And as Mental said, it's great for like leftovers. So you're getting in the car and it's whatever we're having is something I can't eat because sometimes that happens. It's nice to be able to just make a plate of food and throw it in a microwave. But I would not say that we need it enough to be able to get one dedicated for our race table.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well,
And we've got so
hopefully-
much more on this general topic that we can keep doing as a series of episodes in the future about now that you've got your Paddock set up, what are you eating? Like
Yeah.
let's see some Paddock food recipes.
Because
And,
this series is matured, and I have noticed, with only one exception outside of Lemons, nobody cooks like a Lemons Paddock. Are you East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, Texas, Gulf? Doesn't matter. There will be like 4 teams that just throw down. It's fantastic.
Well, I think it's most of it because we typically we're staying at the track. Lemons tends
Mhm.
to
And I
party
think
a little-
it's
a
a
little bit more.
community oriented atmosphere, and
Correct.
what brings people together?
Yep.
Food,
Food.
booze.
Okay, now that you're all hungry or something.
I'm starving right now.
All right. You have anything else?
We have a lot more. I feel like we've got a whole nother show's worth of stuff to do.
Yes.
That's why
Oh,
we're going to stop
absolutely.
and not force it and have a whole nother show because that's even better.
We haven't even talked about tools, and we all know we're going to talk about our
Yep.
good friend Corey when it comes to tools.
Yeah.
Oh, this bag
Well-
of goodies.
Does he vacuum seal his tools before he comes?
No, it's so no. We're gonna
He's-
Yeah.
you're gonna have to tune in for that one because that's a special one.
And he doesn't do it anymore. He's been shamed.
Yeah, we've tool shamed
All right.
him into actually being a good boy.
Good. Well, no matter what, it's better than what Sputnik used to do. They'd have like 5-gallon buckets full of tools. I swear they would just walk out of there, get there, and empty the buckets onto the ground. And that was
How
just
many
it.
how many buckets did they have?
Oh,
Oh.
quite a few.
That's way better. That's way better.
Same thing. Okay, good.
Well, yeah.
Good. Well, that'll be a fun thing to talk
just
about
to
later.
make Matt go into a seizure. I think.
Yeah.
I think he just resisted it forever to annoy Matt.
Yeah. Well, just as a precursor, like his only 5/16 wrench was not an open-ended box wrench. No, it was a line wrench. So that was if you had to do anything with that, you have to use the offset line wrench. That's it. That's all those are your options.
Excellent.
All right. So what we're not talking about this next week. I don't think so.
No.
Go ahead. What are we talking about next week? Or do we save it? Or we
Oh, no. We already told everybody. It is rally month, baby. Oh, yes. And next week, as they are gathering forth to head to the airport to descend upon Las Vegas for the Going for Broken rally, we'll be recording. We're going to talk about it. We're going to have Stobbs on, not next week, but this month.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
was
gonna
going to say, I was like, we're not leaving yet. But yes,
Yeah.
it's rally month. So we've got all these things lined up. I am following. Good. Let's do that.
If you are racing Sonoma, have fun, but you're missing out.
If you're racing Sonoma, you're getting at least one great judge, and it's going to be awesome, and you guys are going to have fun. Not as
think
much fun as
Overzet-
we're going to have.
I think Overzet's there too. You got
Oh, dude. Okay.
Bowman and
Yeah.
Overzet. So you
All
got
right, you're not. Yeah, you're getting A+ judging. You're going to have a great time. You're just not going to have as much fun as we're going to have.
Mhm.
That's correct.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, well.
And actually, if you
All right.
are a rally team, we know that the XC90 kids are coming. We know that the Kim Jong Elantra crew has an entry. We know that I believe Fort Kickass is headed up here.
Safety,
the whole
Safety Joe Spears from the
that's right,
staff's coming.
Safety Joe Spears. If you are coming to Las Vegas for the Going for Broken rally, let us know. We will give you a massive shout out, and I will also tell you where the good tacos are. Yeah. We'll exchange information in case your hoopty breaks down. My garage is available to all Lemons ralliers who need to work on their car. And all of my tools are in boxes that are labeled so you can find them.
I've got one quick thing. We can do a quick on the spot here as our last bit. I've done on the spot in a while. What's one thing we didn't say that you've got to bring for your pit paddock area? One supply that we didn't talk about tonight that you think is a must-have. And I'll start us off. Sunblock.
Did you say gasoline?
You always yes.
Okay, sunblock.
Fine. Sunblock. You always need sunblock around. If you leave it in the box of stuff, you've always got it there. So when you're out and you've been out in the sun a little too long, you're feeling crispy, and you get it, and you say, "Oh, I wish I had some sunblock." Leave it in the box.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yep.
Chrissy, I'm putting her literally on the spot.
Chrissy, your microphone's not working now. Of all times. Oh well.
Oh well.
Tim, you
it's
go while
not?
Chrissy gets hers. Oh, now it's working. Good.
Okay. So mine is not necessarily a supply, but it affects your paddock experience. Our helmet tree. So we have a helmet tree, and that makes it so that you don't have helmets and other crap all over every flat surface, but also all of the chairs that are inevitably in the paddock because you go get your drink, you put your helmet down, you put it in a chair. So I'm going to go with the helmet tree. I know that's a little bit off into the next topics, but that's
We'll
what
talk
comes
about
to
that
mind.
next time. Yeah. Good.
Go ahead.
All right. A giant purple lounge chair, because
You took mine.
because sitting in a camp chair gets old. So if you've got a big cushy lounge chair that you bought for $50 from a going out of business office space, it gets a lot of use.
It is.
Gets a
It is.
lot of
It is
use.
comfy. It is.
Yeah.
I was gonna say seating, and while the camp chairs are obvious, sometimes you can immediately source locally. Like we've talked many a times about the living room set, but old office chairs that people are throwing away. I have at least 8 times brought stacks of chairs that were being discarded at my office or at work, and with no intention of bringing them back. They were just considered, and the track staff always seems to pretty happy to have comfy chairs that stay there at the track or something like that. So you forget how much you want to sit down at the end of the day until there's no place for you to sit.
Yeah, I buy that. Okay. Let's go on to the next topic then.
That's a good one.
It is a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Hella sweet.
Anything else?
Yeah. And Chrissy's infamous F-Bisquick episode will be in here, and you guys will
You
also
putting that
have
in here too?
It's going to be in the show notes. And
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So, absolutely. We'll watch that thing jump up to our most watched
Excellent.
video again.
Bing, bing.
Great. Well,
Well,
that's it. See y'all next week.
thank you all for
Bye.
listening, and get your kitchen stuff prepared for race season, baby.
Thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you will join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hated us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text us at 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram at everyone.racers, YouTube and Facebook under Everyone Racers, or even Reddit at /E1R. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up, unless, like us, there is no shiny side, then just keep those wheels down.